I watched. Actually, I could stop prattling on about an old Plum video I watched
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I noticed that. I noticed, yeah. And what it was is, oops, I'm just waiting so I can open up the stream on the other thing, and then I can see the chat. And there's only you and me, so
yeah, it's quiet.
It's quiet. But well, I know Ludacris is about because he messaged me 5-10 minutes ago. No, 22:16, so 15 minutes ago.
Cool. Well, if Ludacris, if you're in here, hi there, mate. If not, I will say hi again in a moment.
I've just sent him a message on another platform, which will remain nameless. Yeah. So anyway, so the point is there's this. I don't know if you know of the sport over there in Barbarian land, but rugby.
Okay.
Rugby football.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he's turned up in the chat. Excellent.
Hi there, Ludacris.
And so this guy is a, he's a strong Christian, and apparently, and as always, it's interesting because I'd heard about this incident, and the way it was reported wasn't. Let's just say when you hear the full account, what had happened was he was on like a Q&A with fans, and someone asked him the question, what do you think will happen to gay people when they die? And he said, and he gave a long list of people. So he said, it wasn't just gays, it was thieves, atheists, adulterers, basically sinners, right? Will go to hell.
Okay.
So he's merely expressing an ideological belief, not what he wants. And he didn't come out and volunteer this information. He was answering it in response to a question. And so Noel Plum's saying, given that he's a Christian, it isn't an unreasonable answer because it's consistent with Christian theology. Okay? So anyway, and this was years ago. And so now he's actually been sacked as a rugby player. So his sporting career is over for this tweet, this opinion. And the one aspect of it that has gained all the criticism is the gays. All the other categories are apparently fine, but not the gays. Okay. And so as an atheist, a prominent atheist YouTuber, Noel Plum's complaint was funny how no one defends the atheist, because in terms of freedom of belief, there's no actual categorical difference of category between an atheist and a believer of some religion. Because it's all just your personal belief or lack of belief. And as Dawkins said, every religious person is an atheist about every one of the other 9,000 religions.
Yep, true that.
And so anyway, so he was saying, how come no one makes a fuss when things are said against atheists? And so I was suddenly thinking, who makes a fuss? Who makes a fuss? Oh, I know. The social justice outrage mobs.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But here's the thing, and it annoys the hell out of me. People keep saying, but they're atheists. And I said, so I just wrote a comment which said,
they're not.
How come people say they're atheists, yet they do nothing to defend attacks, to complain about attacks on atheists, yet when there are attacks on a certain religion...
Oh, yeah.
I said, isn't that funny behavior from atheists? because it's, and again, it's because they don't have principles. They're not atheists because they don't believe in God. They're atheists because that's a political position their dogma tells them to adopt.
Yep. That whole thing, it's well, PC correctness in a nutshell, really. We disagree with you. Why? Because it isn't what you said, but who you said it against.
Yeah.
But funny enough, it does come close to the topic, so to speak. I mean, today we're going to talk about something happened, someone did something. You know, the Ilhan... Oh, sorry, guys.
I don't know why, but the spell checker objected to my writing leprechaunist. It said it wasn't a word.
It wasn't. Are you sure?
But I also wrote etherist instead of atheist. Sorry, Ludicrous. I meant you're not an atheist. You're a leprechaunist. And then I put in brackets mythicist ?
I would say mythicist because religious people don't believe in themselves; they believe in something else. Now,
yeah,
I don't.
And he is a person of mythical origin, and so
he is.
That's why I qualified it to possibly mythicist, but I'm not sure of the correct term, and I don't want to cause offence because I understand that mislabeling people is so offensive. Sorry.
Nothing much yet, Real Raven.
I believe in my other personality. What, you only got two?
What's your other...
well, he's
I'm sorry. What's your other personality than Ludicrous? And today at work, I made a little ha-ha. Kids said, oh my God. And I said, no, God is not my name. It's a little bit risque, but it was funny.
Yes.
Well, not that funny, apparently.
That's not to say, Modwain.
But not to say.
Oops, sorry, Real Raven. I don't mean to ignore you.
Okay, but today's live stream, and I'm not quite sure if we should start already or should wait a little bit longer for people to find time to...
Well, my YouTube isn't being very good because we've now got at least 4 people who should be showing us in the chat. It only says 1 still.
Oh, yeah, well, it says 5 to me.
So we've got you, me, a raven, a leprechaun. Sorry. I can't take myself seriously.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but...
Your computer might be a little bit slow.
Yes. but that's on my iPad, which isn't the slow one.
Okay.
I'm using the slow one purely for the Hangout.
Maybe your internet is slow. You have retarded internet! Yay! Oh, sorry.
Or to be more technically correct, my sister has retarded internet.
Okay.
But I'm in as close proximity as I can get without sitting outside, because for some reason she decided the best place for her modem, a wireless router, is out in the conservatory.
Oh, what a great one. A gnomophobe. I'm sorry. No, he wasn't a gnomophobe. He was, well, too subtle.
Oh!
No!
Being a nomophobe is as sensible as being an Islamophobe. Except for the opposite reason. It's not rational to be not irrational to be afraid of Islam, whereas it's not rational to be afraid of gnomes because the little garden ornaments.
And leprechauns aren't gnomes, are they?
No.
Or is
But
that
he wasn't saying I was being a leprechaunophobe. He was saying I was being a nomophobe. And you see, here's the thing. As far as I understand it, if I'm correct, and I'm sure Real Raven will correct me if I'm wrong, gnomes are actually German.
I don't know if they're German, actually.
I thought they came originally out of Germany.
Germanic, perhaps, but...
Well, before Germany was Germany, obviously.
Well, yeah, that too. No, but I think... Well, they did came from forested areas, but I always thought it was more... No.
Gartensvega?
Gartenzwerge, basically, which is a garden dwarf. So yeah, the garden dwarves are garden gnomes, but the gnome, as in the fantasy creature, isn't a garden dwerg. Hi there, Anita.
Sorry, listen to yourself. No kidding, it's not.
It's very important. Don't make light of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so today we're going to talk about something that happened and someone did something, but yeah, who knows? It's not.
No, the G silent, it's not.
Ah, okay. Shouldn't that be a K then?
No.
Well, it's still a silent one.
No, but you can have silent Gs.
Okay, you can have silent K.
And interestingly, so in English, knees, as in joints on your leg, are spelled KNEE.
Yes. And not is spelled KNOT.
No. And there's a German cyclist of the same spelling, but he's pronounced knees.
Is that his name then?
Yeah, knees.
Well, if that's his name.
Yes, but what I'm saying is in German, they pronounce the K.
Yeah.
So the K is not silent, but the G could be.
But listen, you can pronounce the G as well. As in gnome.
No, a GNU.
Well, that one is okay too. Gnome, GNU, not.
No, but no one does pronounce a G in gnome.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, they don't?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, well, you're foreign. You don't speak English properly.
That's true, that. I only pretend to. And I'm really
smoke poisoning. GNU, not Unix, exactly. There's a tradition of recursive names.
Really?
So yeah, so the first bit, the G actually stands for the whole, and then the rest of it is what it actually is. So it's not Unix, so they call it GNU. So it's GNU's not Unix, but the G stands for the whole.
Well, the best.
Have you ever read a book to a kid and deliberately? That's what I said. Real. Have you ever read a book to a kid and deliberately messed stuff up? No, but then I have barely ever read a book to a kid. Oh no,
IPN 4K?
Oh no, me and my wife used to do that all the time, but it was nothing to do with kids, unless you count two adults, big kids.
Well.
But we used to have our own silly pronunciation.
It's kind of funny because when it comes to GNU, I learned that term, funny enough, pretty late because it was part of one of the Discworld books from Terry Pratchett. I think it was the post office. And in the post office, they were combating the size something towers. And there were some hackers on the towers. And they called themselves the Smoking GNU. Yeah, okay.
Is that not just because they were moose?
No.
So a gnu's a European name for the moose.
Yes, but no, they were gnus, as in GNU.
Yeah, which is the European name for the moose. Seriously, it's an animal.
Yes, I know, but that's GNOE.
No, it's not. Not in English, it's not.
Ah, but you're English, you're Ireland. What do you know?
It's our silly language.
And yes, it's a pun to the smoking gun, but it was the smoking gnu. GNU.
Sounds more like Dr. Zeus than Terry Pratchett.
No, if I were to choose between Zeus and Pratchett.
I'm just saying it sounded more like Dr. Zeus than Terry Pratchett. I'm not saying it was, I'm saying it sounded.
Not really agreeing with you on that one.
Well, fine.
I'm a big fan of Pratchett. I really am a big fan of Pratchett. Can't help it.
No. I'm not saying you shouldn't be a fan of Pratchett. I'm just saying that what you said sounded more like Dr. Zeus and Terry Pratchett. Just that little bit of what you said.
Well, all right, then I'll ignore this for a moment.
So, GNU, spelled GNU.
Yeah.
Either of two species of large African antelopes of the family Bovidae in the tribe Alcelafini.
Okay.
They are amongst the most specialized and successful of African herbivores and are dominant in plains ecosystems.
Okay.
So I totally got the animal wrong because I was thinking of the moose, but there is an animal called the GNU, GNU.
Are they stamped and dressed antelopes? Okay. So, today's live stream, we will talk about the great words of Congress member of the USA, Congress member of, if I'm not mistaken, Mississippi, Ilhan Ohmar.
But she's a joke, isn't she? Isn't she there purely to generate memes?
One would think that, and she's probably combating AOC over that because she's losing more AOC memes than Ilhan Ohmar memes. So
yeah, but you see, AOC cleverly piggybacked on the attack on the other one.
Well, yeah, but even without the piggybacking, there are still more memes. What with her Green New Deal and silly stuff like that.
Well, as she has a master's in economics and yet knows nothing of economics.
Yeah. Can't get more.
And has a master in economics but was working as a bartender.
I have to admit, working as a bartender with a bachelor or master in economics says something about the job market.
No, it says something about her.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Not knowing how economics works whilst having a master in economics says something about her or her education. But then again, it's an American master, so who knows? Not nice to say, but... Anyway, so Madame Ohmar was kind enough to remind everyone that because of 9/11 in New York, let's pretend that the other planes didn't happen. The one that crashed in the middle of a field and the one that crashed in the Pentagon never happened. No, it's just about the one in New York. And because that happened, CAIR was founded. Which is fucking brilliant because I don't know how long these guys can look into the future, but those CAIR people, we got to be careful about those CAIR people because they can easily spot something happening 7 years in the future. So yeah, don't forget. And for all of you people who now don't understand what the hell I'm on about, CAIR was started in 1949. So if it happened because of 9/11, they were 7 years early to the punch.
Huh? 49?
Yeah, they started in 1949.
Yeah, but you said 7 years.
Yeah. Well, 9/11 was 2001, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
49. That's 52
Oh,
years.
94. Yeah. Stupid me. 94. I said 94. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I will tomorrow when the live stream is up.
So anyway, the people of CAIR can watch into the future at least 7 years. But the offensive thing she said, which was that CAIR was founded because of it, has been forgotten by everyone, because the other thing she said that everyone thinks is so offensive. Okay, what did she say? She said, well, some people did something. And you know what? It's a very...
She was right. It wasn't a great, articulate description, but it covered the bases.
Yeah, some people did something. Yeah, that is 100% true. I mean, I can understand why people are... Well, some people are upset because they said some people did something. But if you boil it down to the very nitty-gritty of it, it was some people that had done something.
Yeah.
And because of that, something happened.
As I say, it's not the kind of level of articulation I would expect from a national politician, but hey, you know, maybe she has other qualities.
Well, I mean...
Like how she wears a headscarf.
For example. And I mean, it's not me, but according to the Quran, women do tend to be less intelligent than men. And maybe she just wanted to prove a point.
Well, I sorry, I do have to argue with you on that point.
Well, it's true, though.
No, it's not. I understood it is that the averages are very similar. It's just that the distributions are different.
We know that, but according to the Quran, a woman has half the intelligence of a man. At least half, sometimes even less.
Yeah, and some men are not very bright either.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but considering the Quran as a decent source of historical and scientific knowledge, the Quran says one woman is only as good as half a man.
No,
So
I thought it was the word of a woman is only worth half of that. It's not the woman. It's not the woman. It's her word, which is not the same thing.
No, that's not true, because she it's not just the word, it's also the woman herself, because she's also only inheriting half a part of what a man would inherit.
Okay, but again, those are specific things, not the intrinsic value of the person themselves.
Yeah, but they are. According to
okay.
Well,
I don't know what a certain religion of pieces.
Because she is one of the representatives, apparently, from this religion of pieces.
Yeah, but she's also a feminist, which means that her connection to reality is non-existent.
Yeah, but that makes me ponder whether she actually is a feminist or whether she's merely pretending to be a feminist to lull the left-wing idiots into a false sense of security by pretending she agrees with them.
Well, I think you could get into an interesting debate as to whether the deluded are genuinely deluded or cynically manipulating others. Because I always used to think that about the popes, the medieval popes.
Oh, yeah, true that.
The sorts who would have prostitutes naked playing games around the Pope's bedchambers, you know, or other highly religious activities. And it's like, okay, these are not the actions of someone who believes the faith.
They're hypocrites.
But you see what I'm saying? But then there are other people who do believe it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's like the intellectuals who write all the feminist bollocks.
Yeah, well, if I look at Ohmar,
must know enough to know it is bollocks.
Yeah.
But they write it in such a way as to convince people who don't pay much attention or aren't very bright into thinking it's true.
And yes, I was eating aneertak, sorry, but I'm done now. I really had to rush home from work. Normally I try to be ready and all that, but But anyway, what did I want to say? I wanted to say something. I forgot. No, but she is somewhat like those popes. She is somewhat like those popes. Because I don't think she is an intellectual that might be misunderstood. I really think she's a hypocrite.
Yeah, I mean, but then, oh dear. There are reasons to think that the deluded holders of certain political positions are genuinely deluded. It's not that they're cynically or solely cynically pursuing it.
Well,
to believe feminism, for example, you have to be able to juggle such contradictory ideas in your head at the same time, which is an impressive mental feat in its own right. Let's be fair.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks to a certain mental acuity, and there are certain political and religious beliefs that are very similar in that nature.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to hold these contrary things in your head at the same time.
But let's go into it a little bit deeper. So, what can we say to upset people around the world? I'm really sure people. This is us going to try to say all sorts of things that might be offensive without saying anything. After all, if Ilhan Ohmar can say something happened, surely we can do the same. So let's see if we have a nice list.
Laughing in anticipation.
Sorry?
I'm laughing in anticipation.
Wow. But let's see if we can say some stuff that will be absolutely true.
Well, I already, in the pre-stream, I've got to say, as soon as Modwain told me what the subject was, I understood the concept and thought about a certain act of love that happened in Christchurch, New Zealand recently.
Yes. Well, yeah, well, something did happen.
Yeah, something happened.
Someone did something, and something happened. And because of that, there are now people who are told that they are not allowed to have certain items. Say the N-word, they can't stand. What N-word is that?
It says on the next line.
New Zealand?
No, she says it on the next line.
Okay, no. Almost as they are toddlers, yeah, true that. But yeah, no, there was this great and horrific incident where some people had something done to them. It's really
somebody did something.
But then again, there were less people harmed by that. Incident is such an ugly word. Let's not call it that. Happening. Let's call it a happening.
Event. It was definitely an event.
Event. Isn't event too powerful a word, though?
Well, I think it was an event of some sort.
Yeah.
It was planned. It was deliberate.
Yeah, you think?
That classifies as an event.
Well, all right then. Okay, I'll give it to you.
It might not have been an anticipated event for the majority, but it was definitely an anticipated event by
it's like
the person who did it.
So it's like someone coming uninvited to a birthday party.
Or someone
birthday party was
throwing a surprise birthday party.
Okay.
You invite a bunch of people and you bring them around under false pretenses. They get there and they go, surprise.
Well, yeah, no, that's kind of like going to watch a band play in a place in Paris, for example, where some people come with
where somebody decides to take some fireworks.
Yeah. like showing their displeasure for the music or something like that. I mean, some people just did something. It happened.
An event
happened. It's kind of like that event that happened in, where was it, in Turkey on the airport some time ago. Or in Spain, Madrid, on the train station.
Or London on several buses.
Yeah. And the tube. And on bridges. But that was more someone having problems controlling their vehicle, I guess.
Yes. You mean the truck of peace?
Well, no, that was in Nice.
No, there were lots of trucks of peace. There's one in Germany and there's one in Sweden.
But I thought in London it was more like a van of peace.
Oh no, that was the van of horrendous, vile white nationalists.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. The one that didn't actually hit anyone.
Yes, that's right. Because that's much worse.
That's much worse, obviously.
Much worse, yes.
I mean, that's someone, he did something. Hey, all the other things are just things that happened. No big deal.
Do you remember that event that happened near Dachau? As opposed to in Dachau?
In Dachau? Well, there were some small things.
Belkenbergen.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was the celebration, New Year's Eve.
Christkindl market.
Yep. Yeah. The Christkindl, yeah. But there's all sorts of... So a person of Middle Eastern faith who was at an incident said they have some issues with the official narrative too. The single shooter story does not work for them due to timing, but not allowed to think about that here. Oh, you're still talking...
it was a gunman on the grassy knoll. I've heard this one. There was a gunman on the grassy knoll.
That's a different one, isn't it? She's talking about that Christchurch event. You know, the one where they just weren't sure whether to have a barbecue or not.
No, I'm sorry. I was deliberately conflating.
So now, even though we have video footage of one person, it must be that there was a second person.
Yeah, that's right. Because just because you have all this evidence, including live footage, doesn't mean that's what happened. But that's why they suppress it. Because the minute they suppress it, then they can then start lying about what happened.
True that.
It's the same as this. Oh, you're not allowed to have a copy of what it says. Only we're allowed to have a copy of what it says.
Well, if you want to,
it's not just in manifesto. It happened in America as well. With something else, I can't remember what it was now. And there was something where
Aritak, no hate speech, nothing like that. There were two events. Things happened. Come on. Not advocating for violence here.
Well, there was grass in New Zealand. Who'd have thought it?
But two mosques had a happening. Yeah, no, I know. And the film only shows one. That is true. And
the first casualty of war is the truth.
True that. Which I find funny because whilst the guy was driving... Thank you for redacting your message. That's nice. Thank you. Oh, this is so silly. But the thing is...
You do know that occasionally people get into trouble for what's said in the chat on streams. I'm sure we're too small to get attention, but you never know.
True that. I might turn really huge and then 3 or 4 or 5 or never.
Yeah. No. I was thinking more that they might have bots.
True that. Well, the worst thing that YouTube can do to me is kick me off the platform. And at the same time...
That'd be the best thing that happened to you.
I don't care. It's not nice of me, but if I look at my traffic on Cocoscope, I really don't understand why there's those people on. That's not nice of me. I'll not continue. It was an event. I went to Cocoscope, and the happening there seems to be happening a little bit more than it's happening here. But live streaming here is easier.
Well, you tried it the other night, didn't you? But it didn't work.
Well, it could be because I have a very bad version of OBS, or because I'm full of BS.
Go to the doctor, mate. Get it fixed. Look, the bells are terrible. Honestly, you don't want problems with your bells.
Yeah, well, I have to figure it out. Eventually, I will.
Because there are also other Is it Periscope? I hear names, but I avoid any more social media platforms than I absolutely have to use.
A lot they decided the public shouldn't focus on.
Of course not, because it's probably too accurate.
Ludicrous. If you want his manifesto, send me a little message after stream, and I will send you a copy, mate. Oh, by the way, for everyone else listening, no, I don't have a copy because they're illegal.
Are they illegal in the Netherlands now?
No, but I'm not in the Netherlands, obviously. VPN, you know.
Huh?
It's just, listen, ludicrous.
You do realise that the list of countries it's going to safe to pretend to be from is going to get so small soon.
Yes, we're all going to live on Antarctica.
Yeah, well, but no. What you're going to get is you're going to find like that there's 300 million people living in Liechtenstein all of a sudden.
Indeed. Stupendous. But yeah, when it comes to Europe, VPN is your friend. And yes, I know that rhymes. But the thing is, though, if we look at all these things happening, which is dreadful, which is really, really, really bad, the thing is, we can also look at all the other things that have been happening.
Yeah.
There have been several struggle huggles. No, not struggle huggles. Struggle cuddle?
I'm going to say, what's a huggle?
Struggle cuddle.
It sounds like the first draft of Harry Potter.
Where everyone's gay.
No. She's just trying to decide what word to use.
But
I'm the first draft, it's huggle. And then she says, no, maybe not.
But I think the best word is indeed struggle cuddle. It's when people struggle to cuddle.
I know, because that is sexual assault if instigated by the man, or sexual or emotional cruelty if on the woman if initiated by the woman.
Well, it's definitely initiated by the man. That is true, but
no, because this is brilliant feminist logic, right? So if a man wants sex and tries to insist, that is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But if a woman wants sex and the man refuses, that is also unacceptable.
But if the man wants sex and the woman refuses, but the man is of a certain religion of pieces, that all of a sudden it's no longer an issue.
Well, no, as long as he goes and finds a nice Christian girl to do it with.
Yeah. A few thousand of them. It's just something that happened. Right? In some places. I'm thinking about some Fords and chairs, and can't remember the places by name, obviously.
Well, probably because there's so many of them.
Well, that too.
And to be fair, you know, we always have been very open to other cultures in my native land.
Yeah. Which makes perfect sense, because these people did nothing
I know,
wrong.
we've seen it an attack.
What did we see?
Dr. Randa McCann did one on it. If you've not seen it, an attack.
Oh,
Dr. Randa McCann's take on it.
Yeah. I seen that video too, which is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, how dare you look at a woman? But that's only because he's a white man, obviously. I mean, had he been a man of any other distinction than white, no problem. He could have had it then and there on the train and no one would complain.
No, they probably have helped. And then fended off the police if they came to arrest it.
Yeah, because that's unfair. No, it's an actual ad, lol. Yeah, we know it's an actual.
We know it, and we're saying that it was covered by Dr. Randa McCann. It
Among
was. Oh, and Gary Awesome also did one.
Oh yeah, no, lots of people did them. I think didn't I see one from Independent Man?
Oh no, sorry, am I thinking Bain?
Bain could be true, but I don't think Bain did this one. But yeah, no, I mean, can you imagine you're sitting in the train and a man would stare at you? Oh, you can't brush that aside as something happened. No, that's a big deal. I mean, he obviously raped her with her eyes.
Made her feel uncomfortable.
And all that. I mean, it's not as if it was a person of color who came to spread the religion of peace. One moment, guys, I have to kiss my wife. Mwah. She's going to bed. I'm not.
Oh, good night, San.
Good night, San.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so state rape, evil wife, stare rape. And the worst part is, he even looked over his shoulder.
No, he turned round. That's what it was. He was.
So that's like, what was it called in that movie? Angry Dragon.
Sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about there.
It was a really silly movie. I'll see if I can find it. Oh.
Yes, it was Bain, and he did a 38-minute video called "Femme Training in Australia."
Okay, then I was there. I haven't seen his though.
And I watched it immediately after Dr. Randa McCann's 3-minute video. See the difference in style. Dr. Randa McCann, 3 minutes. And his was called Man Seeing Crackdown Ad Fixed. Whereas Bain was Femme Training in Australia.
Okay.
Because what Bain did is he showed real footage, including news footage, of violent behaviour by women on Australian trains. And he must have shown, I don't know, 10, 15 examples of this.
Yeah, but that doesn't count because they're women.
And then all leading up to, but this is what the government spends money on. Because he lived in Melbourne, which is where they made the advert. And he says, and this is what they spend the money on. A man looking at a woman. Forget all the women being violent and vile and horrible, but just focus on the man, because obviously.
Yeah, but that's
only men do bad things.
That's the whole thing at the moment in Australia. I mean, they are doing everything they can to combat with Sweden for the title of feminist fuckhole of the world.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something with cock, but I can't do that because there's no political party in England that already took that name.
Of course. But hey, we share, remember? We culturally share.
Well, yeah, that's basically what a cock would do, share. That is true. That is true.
But no, I think most Western countries are now in fierce competition with each other.
On who is the bigger cock?
Yeah, well, yeah, who can cravenly surrender their culture
fastest
and countries the fastest.
Yeah, it's amazing that we make jokes about it, to be honest.
Well, you have to make jokes because it's,
bloody sad.
Yes.
True that. True that. So I was hoping to find a clip of that angry dragon thingy from a movie. I can't remember the movie though. It's a really cool movie. I can't find it.
Hey, you could always get yourself another copyright strike on a stream for 16 seconds.
Oh, well, I don't care.
No, I'm saying.
I got a copyright strike for playing a little bit of Bella Ciao last week. Bella Ciao, a melody that's more than 100 years old. And I got a copyright strike on it. Well, there you go. No,
that's quite impressive.
I know. I'm proud.
No, that's somebody actually. See, of course, what happens is people claim copyright, even though they actually have no basis, because the morons at YouTube don't bother to check if somebody actually has the copyright. They just immediately react in case they've got the copyright.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because Raven helped me make the song on my channel about freedom of speech, which is based on an old Irish song called Skibbereen.
Oh, well, you know those Irish, they can be vicious.
True that. But this song is also over 100 years old. And
well, you know what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put a copyright notice, traditional arranged, and then you say you've arranged it, and then.
Yeah, we made it all of it ourselves. My own lyrics.
No, I'm saying you've got to put that little notice on, apparently, and then.
Well, maybe, but I didn't care to fight it, to be honest, because I'm not monetized anyway.
Well, exactly. They can have them 100% of the nothing that will be raised.
Yeah, indeed. If I were to be a little bigger channel, no doubt I would have fought it.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, because you know all the apocalypse and everything. And it's interesting to see the adverts creep back on channels that I follow. Given that I don't think I follow any channel that isn't somehow or other politically objectionable to the.
Well, there are some channels that now have 2 commercials in front of them or during the stream that you have 2 commercials at once, and I'm like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And it's just interesting to say, these people were so terrible, and now all of a sudden you have these adverts on them.
Yeah, so weird. But then again,
it's almost as if they're money grabbing unprincipled capitalists.
No, they're not, though. That's the thing. Because if they were, they wouldn't start demonetizing people, because that way they would have grabbed.
No. Because you've got to understand that there are multiple drivers, and one of the fundamental problems is, strangely, in America. Okay, so America, the land of free speech and the land of capitalism, okay, is the most susceptible to campaigns by rabid leftists to drive advertisers from a channel.
Haven't we seen that enough already? Hell yeah!
I mean, look how many they got removed from Tucker Carlson, and it's like, who's advertising on Fox News? Who gives a shit what progressives think?
Well, apparently they all do.
Well, it's not. It's because of they haven't figured out that when you organise 3,000 people to all send a tweet at once, that's 3,000 people, and in a country of 330 million, that's fuck all.
Yeah,
they haven't figured that out yet. It just feels a lot.
No, it's the blue check marks and all. I mean, it's the people who are okay to say the most heinous things.
Oh yeah, like,
but not when
get me his details so we can dox them and
throw them in the shredder,
ruin their lives.
Yeah,
for standing there minding their own business with a benign grin.
Because there was a guy who did something. What did he do? He stood there. How dare he stand there? He should have. What should he have done, actually?
Well, of course. I mean, when someone approaches you, you're supposed to, what's the word? Bow and be subservient and obsequious and back out of the way, but don't turn your back. That's rude. back out of the way and make room. Because that's what you do with royalty. Because after all, these people believe in equality, and therefore you must treat them as if they're royalty. It's obvious.
But if you would, get out of the way, if you would get out of the way, would then that not indicate that you think he's lesser than you and therefore you don't want to be close to him? After all, that's what the Indians do with the untouchables. Right?
Yeah. No. What do the Indians do with the untouchables?
Well, as soon as one comes their way, they turn around and walk away.
Well, yeah.
He should have handed him the peace pipe. Okay. Well, yeah, there is that option. And hi there, Nick, by the way. It is somewhat disconcerting. See, I know a few difficult words. Disconcerting.
I know lots of difficult words, but they aren't necessarily long.
Like what?
Like capitalism.
Capitalism.
Like right wing. Like
that's not difficult at all. Everyone who's left of Mao is a Nazi, obviously. That's not
well, actually, I wrote a comment on Alicia's latest video. Okay, so I have this thing about calling them the left, or at least I have this thing against unqualifiedly calling them the left. So I've decided the term to use is fascistic, not fascist, but fascistic, as in the character of fascists,
which is what it is.
Yeah, so they're fascistic left. Mm-hmm. And the reason is this, right? So what they have successfully done is they have successfully painted fascism and Nazism as right-wing, even though they aren't particularly right-wing. They're both based on socialism.
Yeah, they're left-wing. Right?
They both have huge left. But what they are actually is they're all collectivist authoritarians, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, you've wanted to demonize anyone who gets called a fascist. So we'll call you fascists.
Yeah. Makes sense. But then they will be upset.
Good. That's the plan. Use their rhetoric and their arguments against them.
But in all fairness, though, I mean, I know there was this how do you call it, protest in Charlottesville back in the day, where some
the Unite the Right.
Yeah, where some Antifa
went and caused trouble where there wouldn't have been any, and then somehow played the victim.
Someone accidentally, whilst driving his car, did happen upon some other people, and then yet another person felt that they didn't have enough energy to keep their heart beating. Did I saying that right?
No, unfortunately, it is all a lot more complex than that. And you forgot the man with a rifle who brandished it at the driver, scaring the shit out of him.
And then just after that, someone hit the back of the car with a 2x4, which might have given the impression someone being shooting at him.
Or, I mean, if you're surrounded by a mob who prevent you from driving away and are attacking your vehicle, that would be scary as hell.
True that. Well, it's just something that happened.
They're just those people doing something.
Yes.
Some people did something.
Yeah. And then he drove his car, and then he hit some people. But the people he hit were absolutely okay, funny enough.
Because apparently it was proven in the end that the woman who died did die from injuries caused by the collision.
Really? I heard that she fell even though she wasn't...
No, apparently, because it was a story that it was almost impossible to find out any unbiased information about.
Okay.
But apparently, no, so many lies and counter lies were spread. But apparently,
we can agree that something happened.
But something happened, yes.
We can agree
Actually, a lot of things happened by a lot of people.
So a lot of people did something.
A lot of people did things to each other, which ended in somebody doing something to somebody.
But that's not fair, though, because the driver didn't do something to anyone.
Well,
He drove his car. It's not his fault. The people are on the street.
That's true. That's true. Well, I don't know. I mean, depends which side of the. It's not guns who kill people. It's people who kill people. Whether you're on the pro-gun or the pro-person side of the argument. Likewise with the car. Cars don't kill people. People kill people.
No, but in this case, the car didn't kill a person.
Okay.
No, the person had a personal health issue.
Well, they all had a mental health issue.
Well, that one too. It's not even the one that I meant, but yeah. If the guy had fallen off a building onto the woman, then he still would have been accused of murder.
Well, if he'd looked at her and she'd had a heart attack, he would have been accused of murder because they were Antifa and they would accuse anyone they deem right-wing of being evil, capable of witchcraft, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, them brandishing guns and scaring the driver has absolutely nothing to do, according to them, for the driver trying to get away from them and therefore crashing into a lot of people.
Or panicking and thinking, if I'm going to die, I'm going to take the buggers with me.
Yeah, but it's unfair of me because, let's be honest, it's just something that happened.
Yeah, an event happened.
An event happened, something happened, and some people did something. And then someone didn't go home that day. But yeah, they could have gone somewhere else. Just let's not make it worse than it has to be.
No, exactly. And don't pick on a group.
No.
Don't pick on a group and blame the whole group.
It's not because Antifa threatened the guy with a gun. No. It's because he was driving on the right side of the road. Right?
Well, of course, because Americans are funny that way. Oh, as are you.
Well, I remember right having to do something with it, so I assumed there was that.
Yeah, because you idiots all drive on the right. If you drove on the left like us, you'd be fine.
Well, who knows? Yeah, it could be true. Could be true. I don't think it is, but it could be true. It's the thing, though, innit? We mustn't take it too serious. It's just something happened. And then, well, you can only drag it out so long, I guess. Yes. But it's amazing. It's amazing that people, when we talk about Madame Ohmar, that people are complaining about the fact that she said something happened and not complaining about the fact that she lied about the reason why CAIR got started and forgets to mention that CAIR for time and again has been indicated in terror plots and financing terror organizations.
So I have to say that I don't think there are very few historically accurately reported facts amongst that whole ideology. I mean, feminism is just lies.
True.
I mean, women never had the vote. Oh, yes, they did. Women couldn't own property. Yes, they could. Women couldn't work. Yes, they could. Women couldn't go to university. Yes, they could. Women, it's like lie after lie.
And it's not even hard to debunk them. I mean, women weren't allowed to work. I don't want to be rude, but if you were poor, even your kids
you had to work.
There was no question whether you wanted to.
And this is what I'm saying. But it proves the very fact that it was only the rich, spoiled, and privileged women who were free to complain.
Yeah, but that's
and they only complained that they couldn't do the same sorts of work as their rich, privileged husbands.
Which was hard. They didn't like that. And I mean, you're talking about rich women who were complaining that they couldn't go do a job when they didn't even have to take care of their own frigging children. Because they'd hire poor women for that.
Oh, yeah.
something really weird about feminism.
Well, it's what you do when you're bored and you have too much time on your hands.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
It's true. Makes you wonder, though. But it makes me.
I am slowly, very, very slowly, putting together a thesis on all this. Today I was writing endlessly and never quite getting to the point about how Marxism was unintentionally authoritarian. Because a lot of people say, oh, Marx wanted this, Marx wanted that. I honestly don't think it's fair to apply hindsight, because at the time Marx had no way of knowing.
Actually, I disagree. I think Marx knew bloody damn well what he was doing. He was trying to create a new elite.
No, this is what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. What I've done is I've actually identified some characteristics of ideologies. Okay, for them to be successful, they must. I'm trying to think what I wrote now. It's over there. Never mind. One thing is, it must have a morality. Okay, so for any ideology to be successful, it must have a morality. And it doesn't matter whether it's a religious morality or a secular morality. But there must be good and evil. It's a moral fight. You're taking a moral stance. The person with the belief can feel good about themselves and righteous, because it's that righteousness which actually motivates them to persevere and sacrifice and put in the effort. That seems to be the driver.
Okay.
That's what. Oh God, goodness. I can't remember even what I wrote this morning. Silly man.
Well, it's your own handwriting, so if you can't read it,
no, I can't remember because I hadn't picked it up. And then I can never find it in amongst all these sheets of paper. And then, well, there were three things anyway. So the point being is that what Marxism was complaining about was an economics, the way the economy was working.
Yeah.
The fact that people were forced into these factories, they were dirt poor, they were working for next to nothing, and it was a miserable life.
Yeah.
And Engels wrote a book. I don't know if anyone knows this. Engels wrote a book which he published in 1845 called "The Condition of the Working Class in England."
Yeah.
And
I think I read part of it. I didn't finish it, but
but this is what's important. Okay, so Engels was only 20 in 1940. He wrote the book between 42 and 44, so he was only between 22 and 24, so he was still a young man. He will have gone from I can't tell you anything about the it was a Prussian city called where is it? It was a Prussian city or Prussian town he came from. And Barmen, Barmen in Prussia.
Okay.
So I cannot believe that it was probably like so many of the German towns were very nice, pretty, pretty places. And then he ends up in Manchester.
Yeah.
And at that time, it would have seemed like hell.
Well, yeah, obviously you're coming from a rural.
No. But I mean, I'm not saying that. Can't think of Manchester now. You got to think about Manchester then. So basically, what you had was you had a forest of chimneys kicking out smoke from steam engines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Producing dirt.
Yeah, as I said, it was an industrial town.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can't think of it in terms of modern industry. You've got to think of it as like 100 times worse. So it would be black. The Manchester was chosen because it was damp. Because working on the cotton worked best in damp, in a humid place.
Mm-hmm.
So it rains a lot and it's damp. You then add the dirt. It produces fogs and smogs.
Mm-hmm.
So a thoroughly miserable place. So all that compounds the horrible working and living conditions. So you've got a young man who's probably naive or idealistic, whatever, comes to Britain, sees how utterly horrible it is, so he writes a book.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard. You can understand why that might be. Oh, this is so repugnant, and you take a moral attitude to that. But the problem is they then applied a role of villainy to the investors who were funding the industry.
Yeah, because he needed to have.
No, not because you just. That's what I'm trying to say. You could do all this without ulterior motivation. You could just understand why you would demonize the people benefiting from this hellish condition.
Mm-hmm. Are you still there, mate? Oh, did we lose John? John! I'm sorry, guys. It seems we lost John for a moment. I hope he'll be back soon. Anyway, whilst he's away and he's reading up on Engels, I did read a little bit of Engels, but the thing that I most remember about him was his unfair representation of things. But I'm pretty sure John will tell us in a moment. We lost the bemused one, yes. So let's go back to something happened. Guys, did you know that there was a fire in an old building somewhere in Paris yesterday, the day before? Did you see that? People say something was burning. But no one seems to know why. Now, all sorts of speculations are happening. So I don't want to be a speculating channel. But yeah, dead air at my end. Yes, I noticed that, John. Which is too bad because you were basically talking a nice thing. You can can you hear me as well, by the way, John? Speculation is immoral. I agree. Speculation is immoral. But we can say that in France this year alone, there have been, I don't know, several hundred attacks on Christian houses alone. Am I sure? Yes, I am. Let me see, because I had the number here somewhere, and obviously I can't find it. Ah, yes. According to Kaya Jones, the Notre Dame was the 75th church this year, and she claims it has been vandalized. I don't know. It was an accident. Something happened. But apparently, this year alone, it happened to more than 800 churches in France, which seems like, I'm not this year, sorry, the last 4 years. 800 in the last 4 years. So that's like a little more than 200 per year. Makes you think differently about that one time something happened in Christchurch, doesn't it? But that must be way worse, obviously, or something. I don't want to speculate, though. That is correct. There's no mods. The conspiracy theories are up and running. Yes, I know. I have borrowed is living up to its name. The laptop I have borrowed is. What's the name then? Is it a Hewlett Packard? Like hotspot watches and the like, and this has to have been a pretty prestigious job in a roof called the Forest, lots of well, The thing is, I've already read some people claiming that what happened in that building in Paris might not have been an accident. Because there were people who said, yeah, no, workers did something, and because of that, a fire got started. But I also have read reports that say, yeah, but there wasn't any work planned for that day. I don't know. I don't know which one is true. I wasn't there. And I'm going to assume that you guys weren't there either. But it is something to keep an eye on, because who knows how it will develop. John, do you need me to send you an invite again or something? Well, you're still in here, by the way. It is somewhat worrying that I lost my speaking partner, John. Oh no. Are the interwebs finally cracking down on me? Yeah, I sincerely doubt that too. But yeah, we have to wait. I've also heard that the fire started at 2 places at once. I have no way of knowing if one witness says one thing and the other says something else. I believe both stories until one has been proved. I agree with you. Stands for hundreds of years, we wreck it in one day. Yeah, Anitak, that is not true. It did not get wrecked. I mean, people were told that, oh my God, the Notre Dame will never be well, it's not that bad, because the roof, most of the roof is wood, and most of the wood, well, not most of the wood, all of the wood burnt, but the inside is all stone. And the fire was basically only at the roof. It didn't go down. Now, there was a crane, I think, that crashed because it fell down. Then that crashed through the roof. So there is a big hole in the roof, and that's where the fire fell down. So the benches under that actually caught fire as well. But the rest didn't burn out. We do not even know how they made some of the windows. I'm not really sure about that one either, Anitak. A lot of skills. We still have a lot of skills. There are still old-style carpenters and old-style glass workers and all that. I know this because of my ties to reenactment. There are still skilled laborers out there who actually know this stuff. But it's a very expensive trade. So, yeah, the repair is going to be costly, but they already managed to scrounge up a measly 800 million euro. It would be cheaper to just get rid of certain aspects of society we should get rid of. But, yeah, we could still believe that this was just an accident. Let's start with that one. I mean, we don't know if this something that happened because someone did something. And for the time being, it's easier to believe that this indeed was an accident. Maybe this is an accident. It's too bad, though. I mean, it's almost as if the Hunchback of the Notre Dame came back to enact his revenge. Well, by the way, John, are you coming back, my friend? Or do you think this is the end of it for you? We do not even know how they made some of the windows. Yeah. Shane, come back? I'm trying. Well, I mean, I just wanted. Not a lot of people wanted to come on today. I didn't send out a lot of invites, to be honest. I did ask in a few places, but not a lot of responses either, which is totally okay. Oh, damn it, Jusum said he wanted to join, but he said it in, and I've missed that. I'm sorry, Jusum. Oh, I really feel bad now. Complaining that there's no one there, and then someone said, "Yeah, no, but I wanted to come." Yeah, you can try on your iPad. Listen, John, if it's not going to work, I can call it quits too. I mean, it's a little bit early, but that's okay. Lead up to Easter, and we're in election mode. Everyone's busy. Well, I'm really curious what will happen, because there will be several things happening in Europe the coming months. And, yeah. It can go in a lot of ways, but very few of them seem positive. It's almost as if we can choose between being berated and controlled by communists or by religious zealots. That's somewhat upsetting. In the Netherlands, for example, there have been elections not too long ago for the House of Lords, comparatively House of Lords. We have a different name to it. And the one party that is the biggest winner has been excluded nearly everywhere because the other parties don't want it to work with them. So there is your democracy. You choose, but we decide what we do with your choice. And if we then decide to say we don't care about your choice, chuckle at that, motherfucker. But that's the thing, though. It's kind of like what happened with the Brexit in the UK. It's okay that half of the country wants to leave. It's just not going to happen. It's very depressing when you stop to think about it. But democracy is only as good as the people believing in it. It is almost as if our politicians want a civil war to re-establish whether they should be in power or not. Not nice of me to say, but here it is very apt. It's even worse in New Zealand and Australia at the moment, where they are actually planning on taking away the guns from law-abiding citizens because someone did something. It's amazing. The only thing that depresses me is that anyone thought we live in a democracy. Yeah, that's the thing, though. We do live in a democracy, but it's a sham. You have the right to vote. They have a duty to listen. One is coming back. Can I hear you? No, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I haven't spoken yet, mate.
Yeah, well, I could hear you. You were making a lot of noise. But welcome back.
I was sat there silently when I rejoined.
I didn't know what you did, but it's almost as if you were blowing in the microphone or something. Oh, you're showing your mug now. Ha-ha.
No, that's delayed.
Ah, okay.
No, I suddenly realised, frigging technology. You know, honestly, I don't know how it has got so much worse over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Software is supposed to improve. Computers are supposed to improve. You get these poxy... and you know that Windows wanted to do an update and it couldn't because there wasn't enough space. Well, for some reason, it kicked me out of the live stream on the PC. So I rebooted it, and now it's going, getting ready, Windows ready, do not turn off your computer. For an update it's not making. Fucking thing. Honestly, they are so bad. so poor. It really is unconscionable that the people demand your money. And then tell you it is a sin to not censor you for your wrong think.
True. And then people fall for it as well. It's weird, though. But then again, I mean, don't worry about it. The world's going to end in 12 years anyway.
What?
But didn't you hear?
No.
No, what's her name? Cortez. Alexandria Cortez said this a few months ago by now.
Hang on.
With her Green New Deal and all that.
Being an old man, approaching 60, I have lived through
From which
many
end?
ends of the world, and strangely, some based on such peculiar things as the fact that the Mayans didn't plan their calendar thousands of years into the future beyond a particular moment in time. How short-sighted of them, considering that they ceased to exist long ago.
Yeah, indeed.
You know, and you get all these people, oh, the world's going to end, the world's going to end. Okay, when we spot the meteor, then I'll believe you. And it's got to be a big enough meteor. It's got to be a big enough one to kill everybody.
Well, I'm far more interested to see how, to be honest, considering the fact that the United Nations has been saying that the world will end in 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever amount of years since the 1960s.
It's almost as if they use scare tactics as a political weapon.
Well, it does seem that way, doesn't it?
No, but see, what I like is, so the worry used to be that the ice age would return because we're in an interstitial and therefore we're due for the ice age to pick up again anyway. We're overdue or something.
Well, we should be in a small ice age by now.
No, the ice age should be coming back full on. We've been in the interstitial and we should be coming out of that, according to the climatologists who studied the past. But as we know, past performance does not predict future performance. So they should know better, anyway. And then, so we should be getting very cold, and simultaneously we're worrying about getting very warm. Now, call me, I just had a thought that perhaps the greenhouse gases will mitigate against the natural cooling.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, just as somebody who's heard these worries for the longest time, isn't that an idea? That maybe having the greenhouse effect at a time we would otherwise be freezing might actually not be so bad?
Maybe. You could be correct.
It's only they get their stories straight. This is my point. It's like they'd say, right, we're going to scare you with this and we're going to scare you with that. But you're not allowed to remember that we scared you with the opposite a couple of years ago. Just forget that. We never said it.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, the Green New Deal now says 12 years. And when was it that Inconvenient Truth came out? Somewhat just before 2000, I think. Which also said something like 10 years or 12 years. It's always 10 to 12 years. I think once they said 20 years, but that was a long time ago. Makes you wonder.
Well, yes.
What's so special about 12?
Well, it is a great number. After all, those Sumerians, when they devised the 60-minute clock, were really onto something with the divisibility of 60.
Well, still, makes you wonder, doesn't it? The world's coming to an end once again.
Just remember that all the bearers of, or what do you call them? The the people who declare doom have something to sell you.
That is the thing, though, isn't it?
You'll have something to sell you. Which, if there really was only 12 years, why the fuck should we care less what they're selling?
I'm not really that interested in what they're selling, to be honest. I find it amazing that there are people who actually think it's worth what they're selling, even though they don't know what they're selling. The number 12 is divisible by a lot of numbers. Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, it's 60, that's the key number, because the 60s, that's brilliantly divisible by lots of numbers. But 12 is just a key part of that.
Okay.
So you've got the 12-hour day, which is all part of the 60.
Makes somewhat of sense. When the world ends, there will be no one left to say every person did something. Yeah, but that's just because something happened. And by the way, the world
world will end.
Oh yeah,
a bit of a wait, but it will end.
It will. What's the current number? I think 2 billion years.
Oh, as recent as because I heard it'd be about 5 before the sun expands enough to consume the Earth. I mean, we'll be. Oh, I suppose you could say that we will be uninhabitable 2 billion years, perhaps.
Yeah, something like that. But by then we should be able to have interstellar travel, or we're all extinct anyway.
Well, I was going to say, considering that multicellular life is only about 700 million years, so you're looking
we still have some time to go.
Yeah. I mean, most people can't plan. Well, I speak for myself. Okay. I can't plan to next week. So 2 billion years, I think I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, me neither. And I'm not thinking that our kids have to worry about that. I'm more worried about next year.
What? Next year?
Well, the way things are going now. Look at France. Look at Italy. Look at Hungary. Look at the UK.
I'd rather not.
Politicians do everything they
can. If you really don't mind, I'd rather not look at the UK. I'm in denial.
True that.
Go la 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 a lot. The lunatics are running the asylum. And until we have a chance to vote them all out.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point in time, they're actually trying to get Sargon off a card because he's running for MEP because he said he wouldn't rape someone.
Oh, yeah, well, you know that for... It's this incredible ability of people, and I have experienced it in real life. They complain about something, you explain it, and they go, oh, yeah, I understand now. And then 10 minutes later, they make the exact same complaint as if you hadn't explained it. Well, and so you explain it again, and they say, oh, yes, that makes sense. And then it's like 10 minutes gone, and they've forgotten all about the explanation. Yeah. And they come back with the same complaint, and it's like that.
It's weird, though. It's almost as if people don't want to remember. It's almost as if we actually do live in a clown world.
Well, as I say, you've got to do something really bizarre to your brain to believe some of the things they believe.
Hey, they're toxic. I did send you a tweet earlier.
I can't actually see any chat at the minute. I'm using Hangouts on my iPad, and Hangouts is very antisocial. It will not share.
Well, I'm sorry.
Other apps I can run 2 at once, but Hangouts will not share. It says, no, it's me on. I'm alone or I'm not here at all. And the non-update that's not happening on the other computer is still running as I'm trying to get it to reboot. And given that it's got no disk space and possibly a horse-drawn processor.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just a steam-powered PC, that's for sure.
No, that's why I went horse-drawn. I think steam-powered is a bit modern.
Yeah, but you don't have enough room for a horse-drawn PC.
No, that's the thing with the drawing of a horse. You attach it to the front.
Yeah, but the horse needs place to walk.
Yeah, in front of it. That's fine. Yeah. It could be a little mouse, I suppose. Some hamster in a wheel powering it.
Hamster wheel power PC. Oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yes, I think so. You know that you get those satires, and so I think somebody at because it's an HP, right? So I think someone at HP said, "Okay, for a joke, what's the most pathetic underpowered computer we can sell?" And then somebody didn't realise it was a joke, and they actually made and sold it.
Hmm. Isn't that how Hewlett Packard got started?
No, oh no, I'm not thinking of somebody else, aren't I? Sorry. They did appoint Carly Fiorina as CEO, so they can't be that bright. She nearly destroyed the company.
That is true.
That was in the 90s, probably, I think.
I can remember that people were talking about that she broke the glass ceiling.
No, she nearly broke HP.
And then when she broke HP, they complained that HP was already broken and that they just appointed her to take the fall. So it's kind of funny because you can't do right.
No, I think everyone's agreed she's a moron.
No, not everyone.
Well, she's married, so yeah, her husband doesn't. Well, maybe her husband does.
Maybe that's why he married her. Oh, that's nasty. John, you can't say that.
What?
I
can't say the thing I didn't say.
Right.
You said okay. Instead.
Well, someone said something.
I said that she's married, so maybe her husband doesn't think she's an idiot. And then I thought, well, maybe he does, because people who know people well...
Well, they know, don't they? Anyway, Toxic, congratulations with your grandchild. Hope everything is well in the hospital.
I asked her what his name was, and she sent me a phonetic spelling, which I can't pronounce.
Okay, that sounds...
Well, he's Korean. I mean, you know, and there are plenty of good English Korean names like Park or Young or Sun.
Okay, let's try it. Let's show us the name.
Who are you talking to now? Because I can't do anything.
Whomever can show it to me.
No, I can't do anything. Literally, I've got the Hangouts app open on the iPad, and that is my lot. And getting Windows ready. Do not turn off your computer, which will probably run for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the PC for you, mate.
Well, this is what happens when you borrow. I mean, to be fair, my sister never made any pretense that this was anything other than a parlour crap.
Do that.
It's just it's a very new parlour crap. In which case, as I said, why are they making such inadequate computers? Sorry.
I'm sorry. So the name, is it Tae or Tae-young? And now we have to wait for her to respond. Sorry.
I can't see, so you will have to...
Tae, and it's Tae, and then Young. Spelled Tae-young. Yeah, Tae-young. Did I pronounce it correctly with Taeyang, or is it Taeyang? And now we have to wait again. That's the downside. I mean, it's not that fast.
It's even worse when you can't see the text, and therefore you can't actually judge the delay.
No, that's true. I can understand that. I really feel sorry that you're on your thingy. Lol, don't overthink.
At least you can hear me tonight, because half the time I use my iPad, everyone says, "We can't hear him. Is he talking? Turn his gain up."
Well, it's not so much that I'm overthinking it, High Desert. I mean, it's not that I will meet the kid personally, probably, but I don't want to pronounce it right.
Well, Alicia did promise to conquer and take back England. And if so, and she's the Queen, I'm sure she'll have us over for a royal dinner.
Yeah,
or
well,
at least a tea in the garden at Buckingham Palace.
Where I would love to meet her real life, I'm not going to hold my breath for her to take over the UK. I know. I'm really cynical like that.
Well, look, I'm sorry. The last invasion was by the Dutch, so I think you owe us a principal role in taking back the country.
Well, the last time we came your place, we didn't really take over your country. We just took your admiral's ship.
No, I'm talking about William of Orange, who was after that. He invaded. That was the last invasion of England.
I thought that was before that.
Oh.
I'm
William
really
of Orange was 1688. Your Battle of the Ship Thingies was Charles, I would suspect.
Michiel de Ruiter was 1607, I think.
Thank you. That's James I.
Okay.
A lot happened between then.
Well, it's a funny thing because the Dutch and the English, not the British, the English. The Dutch and the English have a very interesting history together. It's the same with the Dutch and the Germans. We're not really friends. We're not really not. It's so weird. You're being invaded right now, mate. Semi-soft takeover. Yeah, it's not soft though, is it? But don't worry. The EU-SSR will take care of you. I said Taeyang. Taeyang or Taeyang. So that's the difference. So the question was, did I say it right? Toxic. Yes, I said it right. Which one? The first one or the second one?
Both, of course.
They were both good. Taeyang and Taeyang. Oh, Young. Okay. Taeyang, the first.
I told you, Young is a good Korean English name or English Korean name.
Well, it's not Young, it's Young.
Young.
Right? Young.
Young. You pronounce it Young.
Yes.
Young man.
Get off my lawn.
No, I was doing a Catherine Tate impersonation. She had a lecturer's granny.
Well, then I didn't pronounce it right.
Young man.
I didn't pronounce it right. Apparently, you should say young as in not old, not as I thought it would be done. Yes, that's okay.
Yeah, I think Toxic at me because I'm an old man.
Yeah, I'm not the youngest one either, my friend. Not as old as you, though. That is true.
No, it never will be. Don't worry.
Probably not. Well, not at. Oh, sorry. Not at the same time, for sure. That's. Anyway. congratulations on your grandchild again, Toxic. I really am happy for you. By the way, I did make a small video on a conversation Toxic and I had not too long ago about the vaccine program in America, which has caused a little bit of a hubbub around the Modwain's interweb thingy, because some people are like, yeah, but the anti-vax is bad, and then some people, yeah, but anti-vax is right, which is basically all that I wanted to say, because it's somehow never nuanced when we talk about stuff like that. I don't know why.
Well, to be fair, you see, I mean, the problem as I experienced it was the attitude is so culturally homogenous over here that it's never talked about. It's just so someone, you know, and I've heard it on comedy shows, that people will say, oh yeah, an idiot like an anti-vaxxer, as if that's an obvious statement, an unquestionable assertion.
Oh, I didn't say you were anti-vax.
No,
Did I?
I'm saying that
No, I mean,
that's
toxic.
the attitude. I'm saying there's no conversation around it over here. It's just, if you're an anti-vaxxer, you must be some kind of moron, a flat earther, and that's just the attitude. And people assume literally everyone agrees with them. And I don't care what your belief is, that isn't healthy.
No, and that's my point. And listen, I'm still in favor of vaccinating our kids, but, and this is what I also said, the American program is so inherently different than the European one that I can understand people being well, maybe I did say that, Toxic, but I didn't mean it in a derogatory way. I'm sure of that.
You also said you understood that it was different in America and you didn't mind, or it wasn't of concern.
Well, no, I mean, finding out the difference made me realize that the way, I mean, I'm still in favor of vaccinating, but if I'm looking at the American program, for fuck's sake, I can understand people being reluctant there.
That actually is funny, because what Toxic Thread said, I don't think it's a negative term, is the fundamental point that we need to constantly reinforce when people use terms in a negative way, because it's only negative if you think it's negative.
Yeah,
it's like one of the things that annoys me a bit on Honey Badger Radio is one of the guys always railing on the left. But okay, so think about it this way: if the Democrats are considered left, and half the country are Democrats or vote for or half the voters are votes for Democrats, then half the voters don't consider that a problem or an insult. Therefore, why are you using the term other than to like satisfy your own sensitivity? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it is amazing, because I am still in favor of vaccines. I'm not in favor of the American way, don't get me wrong, but personally I still believe vaccines are a good way to go. Is it the only way? No, I'm not in favor of forcing people to get their kids vaccinated. I'm not in favor of forced treatment in the 99% of the cases. But the fact that we can't have this conversation, I believe Toxic, when she said people were threatening towards her, I've seen how people responded to me, and I'm still in favor of vaccination. All I said is, it's more nuanced than yes or no. And that already upsets certain people. I mean, it's quite amazing.
But this is the thing, though. That's what I say. It's like, it's not whether vaccination is good or bad. It's whether each specific vaccination is good or bad. So you can be genuinely comfortable with the concept of vaccination, but it doesn't mean you should automatically accept every single vaccination on somebody's say-so uncritically. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does. Or rather, it doesn't, but not because of what you say. But I don't understand. I don't understand people can be so black and white. It's the you are for us or against us mentality. And I don't understand that. Throw me over for a Yankee.
It's all right. It's something we were talking about earlier.
Ah, okay. Guys, I'm sorry. I am going to call it quits because I need to pee anyway. And normally I would just go away, but I don't want to leave.
On the bloody PC's just booting.
I can't help you with that, mate. But I do need to pee, and I don't want to leave you here because there is a risk you will fall out as well. And I don't want to.
No, I won't fall out off the iPad. It's just.
Well, up to you then. Are you going to keep them for a few minutes, or should we end it?
What time is it? It's an hour and 45. So I don't mind. It's.
So you make a choice, mate.
It's your stream.
Okay, in that case, I am going to call it. We had a good run. We had a good fun. And everyone is going anyway. So, you know what? Thank you all for coming. Thank you, John, for coming. I hope...
Eventually, for the bits I was...
I hope you all had a good time. And remember, someone out there is doing something. And because of that, something is happening.
Yes, exactly.
So, and with those words, I will leave the world in your own capable hands, and I will fall back to the toilet. Bye-bye.